Electrify my body and you're making me feel like I'm so electric. Everything you do is making me blow, blow, blow. Don't know what to do about it, can't seem now to live without it. All I wanna do is just no, no, no. You suffocate my mind and now my atmosphere is crowded, and you being here is making me blow, blow, blow. You penetrate my space and now I'm looking out of place and you're making it hard.
What's up, guys? It's Jake here from HookahRev.com, bringing you a very long-awaited Ask Jake webisode number 6. Hope you guys all had a very Merry Christmas or a very Merry Holidays. Just trying to be PC here, I guess. But yeah, it was Christmas nonetheless today, yesterday, last night. Yeah, so I'm going to do, this one is going to be a little bit longer just because I do want to announce some stuff, some long-awaited stuff. As well as introduce a new segment into the HookahRev channel, which is also very exciting. So yeah, let's actually kick off with this. The announcement here is, a lot of you guys have known, the HookahRev.com online store has been under maintenance or out of order. I've decided not to continue it, not because it wasn't successful, it had me extremely busy. But some of you might call me out for this because it sounds a little bit crazy, but my reason was I felt like it was conflicting with what HookahRev and HookahRev.com is all about. And what do I mean by that? It's, yeah, you know, I was referring everyone to my site, I found, and I'd like to think that I carried the best products and had every product that I thought everybody should be available, or should be available to everybody, but obviously there's a lot of options out there. There's a lot of great vendors out there who I personally have great relationships with, and really I just really don't want to compete with them. For any of the vendors that are watching, I love you guys. I mean, you serve the community well. I definitely served my community well when I had the store. So I mean, there was no harm, no foul. There was no drama behind it. Let me clarify that. There was absolutely no drama behind this decision. It is for the sole fact that HookahRev connects vendors with consumers. That's you guys. Or vendors if you're watching. But that's my sole purpose, and that's really what I wanted to do, and that's the direction that I want to keep HookahRev at, and that's the direction that we're going to keep it at. So that's really it. I'm going to do shout-outs to vendors as always. I just found myself doing a lot less shout-outs to other vendors, which is why I made this decision. You can agree with me, you can disagree with me, but that's just how I felt, and that's what I decided. So I'm going to be doing a lot more on the industry back end, which is where I belong. That's, you know, that's where I shine. It's doing business on the back end. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on as far as the lounge, doing some other stuff. But as far as consumer retail, I think that belongs not on HookahRev. So yeah. Let's, oh, well, needless to say, now none of you guys are going to be getting the $5 in reward points, obviously, for asking any questions, but, I mean, let's just go back to asking questions just to ask questions, and I'll answer them to answer your questions. I think it's much more simplified this way, and should just drum up some more activity. So, let's get into it. Question number 1. Alright, so the first part of this question, I would immediately say, no, the size of the vase does not matter. However, most of the hookahs that are available, that are mass-produced, they come paired to specs. Yeah, they come paired to specs. So it should be designed to work stem and vase. What might have happened here, because this question is very unique to your situation, obviously. What might have happened here is that because the screw-ons are universal when it comes to Mia hookahs, so the shop that you bought it, for the vendor you bought it, it sounds like maybe they just matched a different size vase to your smaller stem. That could be the case. Now, it is a 40-inch you mentioned, which is very tall, so that shouldn't have been an issue. So that just might be a down stem issue. I'm not entirely sure without knowing your exact setup. But the vase really shouldn't matter, because a reputable company like that, as well as Colonial Moon and everybody else that sells hookahs, they should match the vase up properly. Now, like I said, it's very possible that you could have just gotten a bigger vase than you should have, or a custom size vase, or a custom vase even. So, if there's not a lot of distance between the water line and the vase, you can see here there's probably a good 5 inches or so. That's ideal. I mean, you can even see, whoa, you can even see on the bottom here how much water is being filled. Obviously, it's about this much to the bottom of the stem to the bottom of the jar, but there's plenty of smoke volume that can be had in the top there. So if you've only got like a little bit of space from the water line to the top of your vase, that's not a good thing. I'd suggest either finding a different screw-on vase, or even trying to find a longer down stem if possible, if you can find that. But yeah, I mean, the only, and to answer the second part of your question, of course, the only difference between screw-on versus just grommet stem to jar, didn't even really make sense, but yeah, you guys know what I'm talking about. The only difference with that is really just the design of it. I've had one Mia hookah actually that is a screw-on, and there's really not much difference. I think it was the Diva that I had once at one point. So it just really screws on versus a grommet fit. You can actually, instead of screwing it on, if you get a regular vase, you can put a grommet on your screw-on stem and pop it right in. That way you can use other vases other than just the screw-on. You just have to find the right size grommet. Nothing different other than the design. I would say it's a little bit more convenient without the screw-on, but obviously it makes sense. You can pick up your hookah by the stem if you have a screw-on base. Now, I just don't like to do that out of habit, because if you guess wrong that it's not that kind of hookah, if you forget or something, that would just plop right off, or it might plop right off, and you could potentially smash your jar, which sucks. Question number 2. Alright, the answer to this is you should clean it after every use. That is textbook. Now, I don't do that myself, but I do smoke on a daily basis, so what I do is after I smoke a hookah, I will let it sit in my office, in my room, wherever I'm smoking, and I will clean it the day after, wow, I've been drawing a lot of blanks lately, and I'm snapping at myself. I clean it the day after, right before I smoke. That's what I'm going for. So, you notice I got another hookah in the frame. This is my all fucker medium solid. I haven't used this one in a while. Yeah. So yeah, I do keep my hookahs clean, but as you can see here, there's a bit of calcium buildup. The water's hard in Vegas. That's what happens if you don't clean it. So I should slap myself on the wrist. I'm gonna be careful because I've got some ash on top. So yeah, what you want to do? This is Al-Fakr medium solid, so it's pretty typical for an Egyptian, Syrian, any kind of hookah. But what I do is, since I do smoke mine daily, I just rinse water through the top. I have a little spout thing that comes out. Rinse water through the top, just run hot water through it, and then run a little bit of cold water through it, just how I do it. Run some water down your hose port, and rinse your purge port as well, because there's a ball bearing in there. It does get sticky. There's a lot of residue that comes in out of that. Another thing that I do on usually a weekly basis on the hookahs that I smoke pretty frequently is down the entire stem, you grab a brush. There's a few videos on this too, but it's pretty simple. You take your long stem brush, you bend the top, the handle part, you stick it in all the way through the vase, and you just kind of twist around it. So by twisting around it, you break up all the loose little pieces in there, and then you go through the bottom of the stem, and you do the same thing for that, and rinse it out. And if you don't do that frequently, you're going to get a lot of weird stuff that comes out of there, and you're going to see the benefit of cleaning your hookah often. So I do that once a week. Now, you can incorporate lemon juice, lime juice. I don't really like to use vinegar, but all these you can use. There's even hookah cleaners that are made specifically for this. You can use it. It's entirely up to you, but hot water and a brush usually works fine for me. Vase as well. You want to get usually like a vase brush, base brush. It's a lot bigger, so it's like big, bushy type of thing. Just get in there, just do it. You can do a soak even. Just to touch on this as well, I actually, once a month, I soak my funnel bowl, my vortex bowl, any kind of bowls, just in water overnight, and then I just start scrubbing all the residue off of it. That usually does it for me, and it should work for you guys. This is also personal preference. I personally do not like to taint my vase with any other liquids other than room temperature water. Now, ice in the vase does cool your smoke. That is not a myth. It cools your smoke. Just the simple chemistry behind that. Now, what it also does, which a lot of people don't know, that it dulls the flavor. You're cooling the smoke, just the temperature of it, and you would even know this if you went outside on like a winter night and smoked a flavor versus smoking it inside where it's heated. You're going to get more flavor inside. It's just the chemistry of room temperature, which is why I use room temperature water. Not freezing cold, not hot. I've heard that one before, but that just sounds a little bit weird to me. But room temperature water is my preference. I do it at the lounge all the time. I do it at home. I don't stray away from it. Now you can put, okay, this is one thing that I really recommend against putting in your vase. Don't put milk in your vase. I mean, it is supposed to enhance the flavor because milk, what milk does, it cleanses your palate, like coffee. Go to a perfume store, you're sniffing perfumes, you smell a little bit of coffee beans, it cleanses your palate. Milk does the same thing. Instead, just drink a glass of milk. Take a sip here and there in between puffs and you're going to get more flavor. Milk in the vase, I mean, you're putting dairy product in there, and if you don't clean your hookah religiously, it could rot, and that sucks. Another thing what milk does, and a lot of what other liquid substances do, is they bubble up. They bubble up, get in your hose port, get in your purge port, get all over the place. Like, you'll see it. Just try it if you don't believe me, but just try it. Put anything in there, especially like, maybe not soda, but even like juice, Gatorade, things like that. It'll just start bubbling up a lot more, and I just don't find that appealing, especially when you're taking a puff and you just get that bubbling up into your hose port. That's pretty gross. And like I said, if it's milk that you're putting in there, not going to work. Also, alcohol. Any kind of liquors. If you put liquor in there, it's fine, it works. You get the flavor. I mean, there's a lot of alcohol content in alcohol. Go figure. But you're basically inhaling alcohol fumes. That's why you will get a bit more of a head buzz. I mean, that's great if that's what you want, but honestly, if you want a bigger buzz, just switch up your brands. I mean, inhaling alcohol fumes is bad. You'll get a headache. Well, not all of you will get a headache, but that's what's supposed to happen. I mean, you'll enhance the flavor and all that. Like I said, just get creative with your tobacco blends. That's what I would recommend on that. That wraps up the 3 questions for this week. And what I really wanted to do, okay, like I said, bear with me. This video is a little bit longer, but I really like the fact that people are thumbs upping other people's questions. That tells me what you guys, as viewers, want answered more. So I encourage you, if you see someone else post a question on there, since there's no incentive, it's just questions and answers, Q&A. If you see other people's questions on there, just give it a thumbs up. That if there's 10 thumbs up on one question, obviously it tells me that you guys really want that question answered. And I think that'll help me understand or be able to choose which questions that I should do for next week's segment. Simple. Keeping it simple. And the next big thing is, I also want to introduce on the askjakes, a question of the week. So I'm really, really, really big on making this interactive between us. I want to connect here. Are we connecting? Is that a little creepy? Yeah. So I want to connect. So I want to do a question of the week, and we'll kick this week off with this one. So how I'm going to do this is on next week's video, and continuing forward, I might find a better way to do this, but I think this was pretty simple. I will just post a few of the answers that you guys gave that got the most thumbs up. So in the comments below, just fire away with any of the questions you want answered, and an answer to my question. So I get to communicate with you guys. So yeah, till next time, this was Jake. I appreciate you guys. It's Christmas. It's not all about giving, it's about receiving. So you guys are receiving from me my gratitude. And it goes both ways, so I appreciate you guys. So until next time, this is Jake.